You need to stop looking for people to complete you. You're already whole. Trust me, you're a whole person. I'm looking at you. Look at me as I look at you. You are a whole person, sis. You may have some flaws. You may have some things you need to work on, but you're already whole. Trust me. Welcome back to another episode of I'm Jess Sayin, the podcast where we get real about self-awareness, accountability, and having healthy relationships. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if this is not, welcome back. I am Jess, your host and your favorite accountability coach. And you already know you have officially entered into a safe space. We are here to talk about all the things that are progressive, all the things that are beneficial, all the things that are fulfilling, all the things. I'm so happy to have you guys here today. And I'm super excited about this topic today because, as you all know, it is Valentine's week. It's Valentine's Day week, and I am a lover girl. I love a love. I know some people are like, oh, I don't celebrate holidays and all that other stuff. Valentine's Day should be every day. I do agree, but I don't mind taking the advantage of, receiving a little bit more off the top on holidays. So, never pass up a moment for you to be able to celebrate somebody you care about or yourself. I know we say that, you should be you should make a person feel special every day, but we know how it goes in day-to-day life, and that does not always happen. So don't feel like you got to get caught up in the trend of, I don't celebrate this holiday, I don't do that. If you truly don't, that's fine, but I'm here to tell you, take advantage of every moment you have to celebrate in this lifetime, because life is very short. So once again, today we are going to be talking about love. I feel like it's just fitting. So we're going to be talking about self-love. We're going to talk about healthy love. And we're going to talk about how you can work on attracting the love that you truly deserve. Now, before you start rolling your eyes and saying, oh my God, not another Valentine's Day episode. No, not again. I'm so tired of hearing about it. I just want you to know that this is not going to be your typical Valentine's Day episode. This is definitely going to be beneficial. We are not talking about buying cheap flowers, and we are not talking about fake Instagram flexes. We are talking about real, true, genuine love. So go ahead and grab your favorite drink, get cozy, because we're about to get into it. All right, so let's start with the big one, which is healthy love, because I know all of us want to feel love. Like, who doesn't want to be loved by someone? But the question is, are we seeking the right kind of love? So I know you're probably saying, what do you mean the right kind of love? Well, I already know, especially if you're a millennial. And if you're a millennial and up, I'm pretty sure you probably saw like movies, TV shows glorifying that toxic love, meaning it's chaotic, dramatic. Sometimes it's even painful, but some kind of way at the end, the love story has a happy ending. And we all know, if you have experienced any kind of relationship that's toxic and unhealthy, I have not heard, nor have I ever witnessed any of those relationships actually ending happily. So it gives you, a misconception of what love truly is. Sometimes you may grow up and you may feel like love should be painful. If the person, I know there are some people, I've heard men say that women want them to argue back with them. They feel like if they're not fighting back, then you don't love them. If you're not, showing that you're invested, if I'm trying to argue and you're giving me the silent treatment, you won't go back and forth with me, then you don't care about me. That is not a healthy love. That is definitely some form of what you believe to be love, that you have learned, and we need to help you unlearn that. And the best way to unlearn bad habits is through knowledge, understanding what healthy love actually does look like. That way you can dissect what it is that you're believing in, all the things that you've witnessed, the ways that you're living, and you can truly see, the mistakes that you are making within your relationships. And I just want you to know that love should feel safe. You should not be afraid. You should not be scared. You should not be walking around on eggshells. You should feel safe. You should feel protected. That should be your safe space. And I don't just mean physically. You should feel safe enough to express yourself. You should feel safe enough to show the person who you truly are. You should feel safe enough to express what your needs are. What do you require? It should be a safe space for all parties involved. So no matter what, I'm a coach at heart, so you already know I have to come with the coaching tips. And the first one I have for you is, if you have to exchange your peace for a relationship, then it's too expensive. You need to reevaluate some things, because a healthy relationship, as we all know, it is not perfect, but it should definitely bring some security, good communication, and absolutely respect. And like I said, if you are not experiencing those things, then you definitely need to go back to the drawing board, because it's time to reevaluate what is going on in the relationship. You need to go back and see, what are your standards? What are your non-negotiables? Because I am here to tell you, it is better for you to just be alone than to be in a relationship that is constantly draining you. Now, I do want to go ahead and say this. Some days will be hard in relationships. You are two totally different people coming together. So I'm not saying that there won't be friction sometimes, but if you find yourself always being drained by a relationship and never being poured back into, then you definitely need to reevaluate the reasoning for you even being in the relationship. Now, let's get into self-love, because before you can even think about trying to love somebody else, you have to love yourself. And unfortunately, I know there are a lot of women that believe going on spa days, going shopping, doing all the cutesy things is self-love. While it is a form of self-care, and it could be considered self-love, but it's definitely deeper than that. Self-love is, how do you feel? How do you feel about yourself? How do you view yourself? What are your thoughts about yourself? How do you treat yourself? What kind of boundaries do you have to protect yourself? It's about, what are you willing to give up to make sure you're good at the end of the day? What things, what people are you willing to put on the line to make sure that you are okay? No matter what, I can love whomever or whatever to the ends of the earth, but I love me more. I'm willing to sacrifice all these things because I love me more. If you have anything else set above yourself, then your self-love levels are not high enough. And I know a lot of people get caught up in relationships sometimes, and you just get caught up in the emotions because you're so used to pouring into your partner, because as women, we're natural nurturers. And so if you're with someone that doesn't pour back into you and you're constantly pouring, they're going to drain the life out of you. And that's how a lot of women find themselves in situations where they're like, I love them more than I love myself. And that is a very dangerous space to be in. So you definitely need to reevaluate how you view self-love. If you're one of those kind of people that you always go shopping to make yourself feel better, you go get massages to make yourself feel better, but then when you get home and you look in the mirror, you're saying, I'm ugly, I'm this, I'm not that, I could be so much better, I'm lacking here, oh my gosh, I'm so behind, why am I not this, why am I not that, why don't I have this, why don't I have that, then you definitely need to reevaluate your self-love levels, because you need to work on that. All right. So now we're on coaching tip number 2. Self-love. Self-love is not just a feeling. It is a series of choices. The choice to choose to walk away from someone who you know doesn't treat you well. The choice to rest when you know you need to, even though you feel like you have 1,000 things that you need to get done. Listening to your body. Also, choosing to invest in your self-growth. Pick up a book, sis. It's okay. I know we love our reality TV shows. I know we love, knowing what's going on social media, but learn something. Find a new hobby and volunteer somewhere. Invest in your growth. Learn something different. It's okay to just walk away from the electronics sometimes, because sometimes it can really get you wrapped up it gets me wrapped up. I'll go ahead and share with you. I had plans to record this episode at like 2 p.m. in the afternoon, and I am now up, cutting my sleep short, recording at midnight because I couldn't get off TikTok. Now, let's talk about accountability. Let's talk about accountability, but that's okay because tomorrow I'm going to do better. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give me some sleep after I finish this episode. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to take my ass to the gym because once again, I'm investing in myself, and I'm going to read at least 10 pages out of the book that I'm reading. I'm going to get myself back on track. So that's another thing. If you fall off the wagon, don't spend too much time on it. Don't sweat it. Just pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and get back on the wagon. Do not stress too much when you mess up. We're not perfect. You're going to have bad days. Like I said, brush yourself off and just keep it pushing. But yes, getting back on track with the self-love. I don't know how many times I could say this, but I'm going to keep on saying it because the truth is you do teach people how to treat you. So if you want a partner or anyone else for that matter to value you, you have to start valuing yourself. So let's get into the part that I know everybody is looking forward to, which is how to attract that right kind of love. Now, listen, I'm still on my journey. I'm still single right now, but it is definitely a learning lesson in progress. I'm constantly learning what I can be doing to better myself so that I can attract the right kind of love for me. And that's another thing I do want to point out, that the right kind of love is not going to be the same for everybody. Everybody requires different things. Everybody's standards are different. Everybody looks for something different, and that is okay. So don't listen to your friends. Don't listen to your family when they're telling you what your standards should be, because they are not you, and what may be good for them may not be good for you. Because sometimes I have had people try and tell me, well, you shouldn't date somebody like this. And I'm looking at their relationship like, well, I wouldn't date the person that you're dating. So your standards that you have for yourself aren't high enough for me. So while you may not agree with what I'm doing, I absolutely don't agree with what you're doing. But I'm not saying not to take their advice, but what I'm saying is don't take on, their view of what the right partner should look like, because the right partner for them is not going to look the same as the right partner for you. It's okay to take advice from people, but don't let other people pick your partners. Please, because you're the person that has to deal with them, has to live with them, has to do whatever it is you're going to be doing with them. It's going to be you. It's going to be me. Oh, no. Yeah, it's going to be you, sis. So, pick the best person for you. So the first thing I do want to say is you need to stop looking for people to complete you. You're already whole. Trust me, you're a whole person. I'm looking at you. Look at me as I look at you. You are a whole person, sis. You may have some flaws. You may have some things you need to work on, but you're already whole. Trust me. We're all a work in progress. That's fine. But you're a whole person. Stop looking for somebody to complete you. You need to look for someone that complements you. You complement each other. And I do want to say, let me stick a pin in this really quickly because something just hit me. If you're in a situation where you are in need, it's probably not the best idea to be seeking love. Because if you're in a desperate situation, let's say you just lost your job, you need your bills to be paid, you're struggling with your kids, or you're a woman that really wants your kids to have that family dynamic. And so let's say you're a single mom and you really want your kids to have that family dynamic. You're really looking for someone to play that father role. Anything that makes you feel any type of desperation, you probably should not be dating, because all the standards that you have are going to go out the window because now you're in survival mode. So if that person can offer you that one thing is going to help make that your situation better, you're going to say, okay, come on in here. You're going to What? I'm in debt. You're gonna pay off my debt. I love you. You are God sent. I knew there was a reason that I ran into you at the gas station. I knew there was a reason, and now we are going to be together. We're gonna make this work. No, you're not. Because once they've done whatever it is that you need, then you're gonna take the glasses off. It's just like a person falling for somebody that they feel is like fine, like they're so fine. But then once you start to really see their personality and you're around them, you're like, you're really an ugly person. Like, yeah, you fine on the outside, but the inside, you're really an ugly person. That's the same thing that's going to happen when you're dating in need. That's what I call it, dating in need. So, you're behind on your rent. You start dating this guy. He's paying your bills, blah, blah, blah. Once you get caught up, the glasses come off. Now you see you're really an asshole. You're really a jerk. And hopefully, I pray that you haven't gotten married and you haven't had any kids by the time that you realize this is not the person for you. So I just always encourage people, don't date in need. Make sure you're in a space. I'm not saying that you have to be like fully healed and put together, but just don't be in need. Yes. And I already know sometimes life happens. Sometimes you're not even trying to date and things just happen. Yes. But I'm saying for you not to be intentionally out on the dating scene while you are in need, because that's how you end up in bad situations. And that is how people end up taking advantage of you. I hear, one of the hot topics is Keita talking about financial abuse. That happens a lot. A lot of women that prey on men. I'm going to say it because I'm here to be real and raw with you. A lot of women that prey on men for their money, it ends up backfiring because you end up being financially abused because it's not your money. He ends up using that money to hold you there, using that money to fight you for your kids in court because none of that money is yours and you don't have the money to pay lawyers once you guys decide to part ways. So that's why I say, it's not good to date in need because it just makes the situation worse. And I'm just going to leave that there. All right. So here's coaching tip number 3. You do not attract the people that you want. You actually attract the people that you feel that you deserve. Yeah, I know sometimes we say to ourselves, oh, I know. Oh, I want a man that's like this. I want a man that's like that. I want this. I want that. But what do you feel really deep inside? That's going back to those inner thoughts when it comes to self-love. What do you really say to yourself? Even though you're saying out loud that you want a man that makes this amount of money, that treats women like this, that loves his mom and doesn't have kids, that does all these amazing things. When you really sit by yourself, when you're thinking to yourself, do you really feel like you deserve that man? Because if you feel like love is always going to be hard, men are always going to cheat, those are the men you're going to attract. And those are the only men you're going to see because subconsciously, those are the men that you're thinking about. It's just like, you ever seen it where somebody's like, oh my God, I went and bought this new car. Then you hop on the highway and you're seeing nothing but that car. You just bought a Honda Accord and then you get on the highway and you're seeing nothing but Honda Accords. It's on your mind. I don't think people understand how much their mind really controls their body, controls their life. Like your mind is the key source to everything. So even though your mouth is saying one thing, if in the back of your mind you don't believe that you really deserve this amazing man, he's not gonna come. Because for one thing, even if he comes, you're not going to see him because you're too busy looking out for all the busters in the crowd. You're too busy looking at, look at him. I could tell he a cheater. You're too busy trying to point out all the men that's no good. So you can't even see the good ones because you're so distracted by the bad men because that's all you're thinking about. But I promise you, if you start feeling that you are actually worthy of healthy love, a life of ease, respect, and joy with your partner, you will start to notice those healthier people start popping up in your life. You'll start saying, oh, he's a nice guy. Now, I'm not saying all of them are going to be for you, but you will actually start to notice nice people. Notice good people. Because they've always been there. You just didn't see them. So here's a few things that you can work on if you are actually in search of that kind of love. First, you need to start working on healing your past heartbreaks. Do not carry old wounds into new situations. Second, know your boundaries and stick to them. Stand on them tough, because boundaries are definitely a love language. And whenever you find someone that's trying to talk you out of those boundaries, you know it's time for you to exit stage left. And the third one is the simplest one. Become the partner that you want to attract. If you want somebody to be honest with you, be an honest person. If you want somebody to show you kindness, be a kind person. It all starts with you. So now I have a special segment that I want to talk about before we leave for today. I want to talk to all my women out here that are actually in those healthy, loving relationships. So this is accountability time. I'm about to get real with y'all. If you are in a relationship and you know your man treats you well, he respects you, he does all the things that he needs to be doing for whatever, is going on in your household, in your relationship dynamic, he shows up consistently for you, then the Valentine's Day is not just about you. It's not about him just coming and showering you with gifts. It's not about him buying you whatever you want. It's not about him getting that new necklace you've been eyeing for the past 6 months. It's not about him surprising you with flowers and candies. It's not about you. It's not all about you. These kinds of men don't enjoy these kinds of holidays because women make it all about them. And it is not. You guys are a team. You're partners. So just like you want to be made to feel special, they want to be made to feel special as well. And before you even think about it, pack that lingerie back up. Or if you're going to use it, I'm just here to tell you that is not a gift. It's not a gift. No. Having sex with your man is not a gift. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Please do not buy him socks. Do not buy him boxers. Do not buy him tools so that he can work on the things around the house, all the special projects that you've created for him. Do not buy those kinds of things. Those kinds of things really give nothing. It really gives nothing. It really gives, I feel like I'm supposed to be getting you something, so here you go. Get to know your partner. Learn what have they been into lately? What are they liking? Do they have something that requires maybe some accessories? I know y'all, hate the video games, but you rather for him to be playing video games than doing other things, right? Get him something, a new accessory to go with the video game. Maybe something for his car. Men love getting their car washes. I feel like you can't go wrong with a year's worth of car washes. Get him something that he will actually enjoy, actually like. And maybe it's just the lover girl in me, but I just love to see like my partner happy. I love to see my partner smile. I just love loving on my partner, and you should definitely do the same. If you know you have a man that's always there for you, always making you feel special, please do not hesitate to make sure he feels that same love and he also feels special. Because like I said, it's one thing if you just don't celebrate these holidays, but if you do, it's nothing wrong with taking advantage of some extra time to make your person feel even more special. It's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So take these next couple of days. If you haven't gotten him anything, go get it. And if you're just thinking about, oh, I'm going to do that one thing that God, no, ma'am. No, man, we are no longer giving sexual favors as gifts. Okay? And if that is what you're doing, you need to be a little bit more creative. And if that's what you're doing, you need to step up your sex life. Because if sexual favors are gifts, then what are you doing What are you doing? Let's just be real. What are you doing? I know we love to say, oh, sex isn't everything, but sex is a lot. Let's be real. We're adults. Sex is a lot. And while we're on sex and we're talking about not giving sex as gifts, you also shouldn't use sex as punishments. Now, if you're just in your feelings and you're just like, hey, I'm not feeling it because we're not on good terms, that's one thing. But for you to intentionally hold out on sex because he didn't do something that you liked, and so it's like, he not gonna touch me for 3 days, blah, blah, blah. No, ma'am, that's not cool. I'm here to tell you right now, that's not cool. So things that we're going to leave in the past as of today, whatever day you're watching this episode, I need for you to leave this in the past. We are leaving sex as gifts in the past, and we are leaving sex as punishments in the past. Yes. All right. So before we wrap this up, before we wrap it up, let's go ahead and address the singles. Let's go ahead and address the singles during Valentine's Day, because there's nothing wrong with making yourself feel special. I know that it can be tough, especially if you're someone that's actually looking for a relationship, seeing couples going out, making posts, and it's like, well, dang, should I do something for myself, or should I just order some food in and just watch Netflix? Like, what should I do? But listen, I'm here to tell you and remind you that this day is not about the things that you don't have. It is about the things that you do have. And you have you. You have your growth. You have your peace. You have your journey. And there's so many different ways that you can celebrate yourself. So here are some of the ideas that I came up with that you can do to make the most of Valentine's Day. The first one, take yourself out on a date. You can go to dinner, go to whatever your favorite restaurant is. Make sure you dress up cute. First of all, you never know who you may run into. Y'all try not to go out by yourself, and you just don't know the man meant for you may be sitting at the bar at your favorite restaurant on Valentine's Day. I bet you never thought about that. So yeah, dress up, take yourself out somewhere nice. Or if you have single friends, that's okay too. You guys can go out together. I mean, listen, whatever makes you feel comfortable. But if you want to get out, get out. And yes, the next one is you can host a Galentine's. I know that's like a really big thing now. You just get a group of friends together. You guys can do something inside, or you can go somewhere together. Host an event with a few friends, hell, a few strangers. You may find something on Facebook events. You never know. There's a lot of groups that have events around this time. I know I'm in a group in Atlanta, and there's so many events going on. There are even events going on and people participate that are in relationships. Some people just like having that girl time. So definitely be open to that as well. And the next idea is something that I actually will be doing for the very first time for myself, is to write a love letter to yourself. I'm super excited to do this because yes, I do say affirmations to myself. I do try and speak positivity into myself. But if you have watched any of my previous episodes where I talk about communication, I suggest writing letters, and I just never really thought about writing a letter to myself. So I will definitely be doing that. I will be writing a love letter to myself. And I also saw a creator on TikTok. She wrote a letter to herself in the future. It was like a year from that day. She dated it for a year. I think she emailed it. Like, she scheduled the email for her to receive it a year from that day. And it was just like, it's so exciting. And I want to do the love letter. I'm definitely going to do the love letter. I'm going to do that on paper, but I do think I'm going to write a letter to my future self in a year. Just talking about the things that I plan to do, where I am now, how excited I am, where I plan to be in that next year, and then reading it on that day and seeing like how much of it I've actually accomplished. And then I'll be able to look back and think back and see like, what, where I came from and where I am at that moment. Like, I'm just super excited to like find new ways to pour into myself. And the last thing is to just do something that makes you feel good. Do something to celebrate yourself. It could be something as simple as you just going to the gym, taking a new dance class. Listen, I talk about being productive, but if making yourself feel better is taking a long nap, then do that, sis. Nobody is here to judge. You have to take care of your body, and that is your mind, spirit, and everything, physical, everything. You have to be able to take care of all of those things. So if you're having a day where you're like, hey, look, it's Valentine's Day. I'm not sad, but I would love nothing more than to sleep in, stay in my pajamas, cook some food, watch some love movies, like whatever. Do all the things. All the things is going to make you feel good. It's going to release those hormones. It's going to make you feel happy. And yeah, post your pictures and stuff on Instagram. You know, I'm not too crazy about posting everything on Instagram, but if you are one of those people that you like, I wish I was in a relationship because I'd be posting this and posting that. Post the stuff that you're doing for yourself. Like, it's okay to like be transparent about where you are in life, because every person that's in a relationship was single at some point, and some people that are in a relationship wish they were single. So, you know, you pick your poison. I'm not going to say poison because, you know, there are some really great relationships out there, I'm sure. But I'm just saying, you know, don't be ashamed of where you're at in life in this moment. All right, sis. So that is it for today's Valentine's Day special. And whether you're single, whether you're dating, or in a relationship, I just want you to remember that love should add value to your life. It should not take from it. And the most important love that you will ever experience is the one that you have with yourself. And if this episode has resonated with you in any kind of way, please make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and feel free to share it with a friend that may need to hear this message. But until next time, I just want you to make sure you take care of your heart and remember that you are worthy of love today and every day. I'm just saying.